We are going to start from where we left yesterday. That was the steps of creating the Capstone project. And we're calling that process to be as the design thinking process, right? And there were 5 steps in that. You can see here it's empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. What we briefly discussed about these was that it is not a linear process because at times you have to come back to the previous stage to get more inputs, right? So you make the prototype or you test the prototype, you find that there's some little coming in this, so let us again do it. Let's think more about it. So you come back. So it's a non-linear process. Just keep that in mind. And these are the various steps. Now we had actually discussed about the empathize and define, but I again come back to it a little just to build the flow of it. So what we discussed in empathize was that in order to get into the shoes of the person whose problem I'm trying to solve, I'm going to talk in terms of 4 things after discussing, say, suppose that what the person is saying, what the person is thinking, what the person is doing, and how the person is feeling. And I create this in my empathize map. Empathy maps. Right? So yesterday I didn't do the example, so let's try to see the example here. That what does it talk about? In the example, what I see here is that buying a child's first bike. Frankly speaking, I took it directly from the net only. So it's talking about buying a child's bike. So your problem is that I have to buy a bike, maybe for a child or maybe for yourself. That you're planning to buy a vehicle. Here I'm talking about a child. Right. Now, first is I'm saying that what is he saying? Obviously, if we're talking about a child's bike, so you're a parent, I'm saying. So what does the parent say? The parent is saying these kind of things. I want the best bike for my daughter. What's the difference between the brands? I want something well built. What do you recommend? Or suggest me your best options or the best one maybe. Okay? So all these things that person is saying. What all is he thinking? He's thinking that I want her to be happy. Is a resale value worth considering? Like you also, if you want to buy something, so there are a lot of things coming in the mind. है ना तो क्या क्या सोच रहा है should I buy? She may only use it for a year or two. उसके बाद the child grows up, the cycle has to change. So there should be some option for that too. Should we look at the used bikes so that I don't spend much, but then still I have an option? I want something she'll find easy to ride. It should not be a very complex, a thing with some complex features. So these kind of things you are thinking. What do you do? अब तुम भी तो कुछ करोगे ना? Right. So you visit the websites, you visit the shops, uh, read the reviews of what all people have bought, what they have to say. We all do this. If I want to buy something, I'll go to Amazon or Flipkart and I'll check the reviews of that product. है ना? So all that person is also doing. I watch videos nowadays. Har cheez ka you have a video option. So I watch the video. I discuss it with my husband or I discuss it with my friends if it's related to something like that. And I also talk to the friends who bought recently. Friends of my daughter. So all these things I do. Right? What am I feeling? What all things? That is generally almost, similar. You'll find mixed feelings always. You'll be excited, you'll be fearful, you'll be, anxious about the cost. You may feel the pressure, like, I don't want to go for such a expensive one, but the child is like, मुझे वही चाहिए. If I want to buy shoes, so the child says, नहीं मेरे को तो Nike का ही चाहिए, है ना? But मुझे पता है कि वो child will grow up and the shoe will become obsolete for him within a few days. But still, so you feel the pressure also, right? So very natural things what a person is going through when he is planning to do something, planning to buy something. Yes, उसका problem है कि उसको खरीदना है, and that in those terms, what is he saying, doing, thinking, feeling, right? So this is the way, like I'm giving you this example because इसको इसी तरीके से you'll have to create in the exam. They may ask you to make an empathy map. Not only in the exam, as you know that we are studying it in terms of the project work, when you are going to try to solve a problem, you are first supposed to create the empathy map for that particular situation. Okay, that is how you proceed. Another example we have here, which talks about buying a TV. Nowadays, TV is not something which is, I don't know, maybe not that exciting, but earlier it used to be very much used. Right. So that is why we are talking about here buying a TV. And again, what all does he do? What all does he think? What all does he feel? Everything comes into play. Right? You can just check out this example and see whether you can correlate with this example or not. चलो तो एम्फसाइज हमने कर लिया, हमने वो समझ लिया, वी आर इनटू दैट पर्सन शूज एंड वी हैव अंडरस्टूड कि क्या चल रहा है उसके दिमाग में. देन वी आल्सो डिस्कस्ड अबाउट कि नेक्स्ट स्टेप में क्या होना है. दैट इज अ डिफाइन स्टेज. सो हियर वी हैव बीन गिवन अ strategy, and that strategy says 5W1H method. This you have to follow, and that way you come down to these questions. What is the problem? Who is the person involved in the problem? Where is the problem located? When is the problem happening? Why is it happening? And ultimately, how do I solve it? So on these terms, you are going to write your answers for it. Okay, this also we discussed, I think, yesterday, that there are 5 W's: what, who, where, when, why, and 1 H. Again, for a problem given, for any situation being told to you, you have to prepare this thing in terms of these questions. Now, third, your problem has been well understood and some kind of a solution has been thought over, that okay, ठीक है, कुछ ऐसा कुछ करेंगे. But then there could be multiple ideas to it. So ideate, that's the third stage. Because ideas पे brainstorming होना बहुत जरूरी है. Otherwise, if you go by that this is what I've thought and this is what I'll do, then you become a Hitler. Right? So ultimately, when you implement it, you find that it is not the correct way. I should have given more thoughts to it. है ना, गलती हो गई. ऐसा होता है हमारे साथ कभी कभी. So that is why for ideation, it has given you 3 types of, I would say the 3 different processes involved in it onto the similar lines. See, the main thing is for ideate that I need to talk. I need to take inputs from a team. There's a team of 5 members and we all are involved in the project. So obviously this term is very similar. You can understand this term, brainstorming. So brainstorming session में you all sit together and let everybody speak about what do they think कि क्या करना चाहिए. तो इस तरीके से you get ideas and you can ponder over it. इसका pros ये है, इसका cons ये है, and everybody sharing their ideas. Fine. Now that's a general thing. But इसमें what we find at times is there are some people who are shy or who are not able to come up, speak in front of 10 people. So that is why उनके दिमाग में जो है वो रह जाता है. Right? So they've given us 2 more ways of handling the same thing. One is the brain dump and the other is the brain writing. Brain dump is, as the name suggests, you just note it down in the paper and then you pass it on to your boss maybe, or to your team leader or to your project leader. This is what I think. So this is good for situation where you think that everybody will not be able to speak. They'll be scared of criticism. They'll be scared of mockery. तो हर कोई इतना बोल नहीं पाता ठीक से. So brain dump comes into play there. Everybody writes it. Somebody wants to speak, they can speak also, but it is individual. आप अपना पहले लिखो, maybe then you give to the group leader and then the group leader takes up all the points and discusses. That could be one way. And the other is the brain writing. This is something interesting. I've heard about it here only. And I don't know how much it is applicable though. But anyway, it says that everybody writes the ideas on a piece of paper. And then one person will pass that piece of paper to the other person. Next, suppose they're all sitting in a line or a circle, whatever, in a conference room. So everybody will write it and then it is passed. तो आपने लिखा और आपका जो नेक्स्ट पर्सन है वो उसको रीड आउट करेगा, वो उसको इलेबोरेट करेगा. ठीक है ना. ये कितना सक्सेसफुल हो सकता है, आई रियली कांट थिंक ऑफ एज ऑफ नाउ, बिकॉज it's my idea. I can talk about it better as compared to the other person. But maybe once it is very well written, the other person can talk about it. Right? So this is how the brain writing happens. The participants write down their ideas on a paper and after a few minutes pass it on to the other participant who then elaborates it. And then it continues. So everybody gets a chance also, and everybody, it's not only on paper, the other person is also speaking on it. तो सब कुछ एक कॉम्बिनेशन में हो जाता है. एंड इट्स कंपल्सरी फॉर एवरीवन टू राइट, सो हर किसी का आइडिया भी कम्स ऑन पेपर. ठीक है. सो ब्रेन स्टॉर्म, ब्रेन डंप, ब्रेन राइटिंग, अगेन दिस कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो, ट्रू फॉल्स और MCQs और एनीथिंग. So these terms are important to be remembered: brainstorm, brain dump, and brain writing. Till our college days, it should be only brainstorming. Then we heard about brain dump and brain writing, so was something which I heard for the first time. Okay, so that's ideate. So this is how they generate ideas. It's very important that you generate ideas. जब आप 10 लोग बैठ के सोचोगे तो वो कुछ बोलेगा तो उससे आपको एक और आइडिया आ सकता है. अपना आइडिया तो है ही है, but then once you heard something, you get better ideas out of that. So they discuss, and then they come to a conclusion. After that, what do? They prepare a prototype. Now, prototype is a generic term. किसी भी चीज का बन सकता है प्रोटोटाइप. सो हम कह रहे हैं यहाँ पे कि उस सोल्यूशन का हम एक मॉडल टाइप बनाते हैं. राइट. यू मस्ट हैव सीन इट इन टेलीविजन और वीडियोस एनीवेयर. लाइक अगेन अ सिंपल एग्जांपल व्हिच आई वाज कंसीडरिंग yesterday also, that the Chenab bridge है ना. अब वो सब कुछ डिस्कस होने के बाद फ्रॉम डे वन दे डिडंट स्टार्ट टू बिल्ड इट. मे बी दे फर्स्ट प्रिपेयर द मॉडल ऑफ दैट. उस मॉडल को भी एक बिल्कुल हर पॉइंट से उन चीजों को उन्होंने डिस्कस किया, उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग नोट्स बनाए, उसके बारे में इम्प्रोवाइज करने की कोशिश करी उसको, एंड देन दे वेंट अहेड विद इट. बिकॉज एक बार वो आप बनाना शुरू कर दोगे तो आप मिडवे यू कैन नॉट चेंज योर प्लान 99.9% times maybe. Right? So the model is created first in order to understand. Now that model could be a paper also, जिसके ऊपर you're writing the things that this is how it's going to be like. It could be a, like if it's a mechanical thing तो उसको इसके लिए आपने 3D model बनाया, or it could be a simple chart paper thing where you are, but it's a visualization which you are creating, mainly that. तो finally ये चीज ऐसा दिखेगा. You're trying to make a machinery, so उसका एक वुड से आपने मॉडल बनाया या ड्रॉ करके बनाया, वट एवर इट इज. बट किसी भी प्रॉब्लम के सोल्यूशन के लिए आप पहले उसका एक प्रोटोटाइप बनाओ. Once that prototype is ready, you hand it over again to the team to discuss, come up with more ideas, change that, and come up with the best one. And then ultimately you have to go for the testing. I mean, that's what I'm saying कि टेस्टिंग फेज में ही वो चीज हो रहा है कि वो प्रोटोटाइप के रिगार्डिंग फीडबैक्स लिया जा रहा है, पूछा जा रहा है कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, हाउ मच you think it's applicable. अगर ऐसा किया तो they take feedbacks also. Nowadays we see it in the social media. These bloggers at times or these podcast people, they ask you, what do you think that the government should do? Yeah, what do you think about the government did? And also something like that. You receive a feedback about what has been done. So obviously you sometimes get positive, you sometimes get negative. So you have to take the best out of that. Right? So these are the 5 steps of my development of the design thinking process to develop my project. I again kind of go through it. We say empathize, then we ideate, then we, no. What do? Come on. Bolo. Empathize, then where we do the 5W1H thing. What is that? Ideate is the third one. Define. Right?
This one we define it.
Yes, we define it. So I first is empathize and we define it. Then we do the ideation. Then we come down to the prototype and then we test the prototype to see the results of it, that okay, what exactly we are talking about ultimately. Now let's do an activity of this puri problem ko leke, because these are more like, these things are talking about individual problems, har cheez ka. So how do we proceed for this kind of an issue if we face step by step? This is again from your book itself. But then I thought I'll discuss it. It's important that we do it once so that, and later on for other examples, you can yourself try it out. Now, the problem is that Ashmita daily drives to her office and back. The office is hardly 30 minutes. However, due to traffic jams, it takes more than an hour. Ashmita is hoping to find a solution for this traffic issue. And now we start that what is the problem and how do we go about it. So first thing is empathize. And I think this is a problem which every individual is facing in the city. Any city for that matter, whether it's Mumbai, whether it's Delhi, whether it's Kolkata, whether it's Chennai, Bangalore, the cities where people work, this problem is there everywhere. So this is something which we must find some solution. हर जगह पे हम नहीं काम कर पाते, but then government or the institution should find some solution to this problem. Right? So they have taken this. Now, okay. Coming to the empathy map. Now we have got says, thinks, does, and feels. Says may you talk about what all statements do you make? Traffic is increasing the pollution. कैसे क्या करें? I want to go to office early. Let me change my time of travel. थोड़ा और जल्दी निकलते हैं. Sometimes you see an ambulance stuck in the traffic. Recently, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, there was a news that in Dehradun or some of these hill stations, one of these hill stations, a man, because of the traffic jam, died in the ambulance itself. Couldn't reach the hospital, heart attack. Delhi president only. This news was there. This is very, very relevant situation. ठीक है, तो ये सब that person is saying, what is he thinking? Should sort of problems, sort out these kind of problems. Is the traffic same all the day? Should I change my vehicle? Will someone come and clear the traffic? That's going on in my mind. Now, what do? Sometimes I change the route. Sometimes I move early. Sometimes I kind of change from car to bike or from bike to car, depending upon कि आपको गर्मी
Or
है
don't
सर्दी
you can use public transportation.
At times we go for चलो आज metro ले लेते हैं. Well, I myself tried it out when I went for checking. I used to go for checking. Now, there was one day where the requirement was to go a little late. Otherwise, every day I used to go to school first, take my class and go. But थोड़ा सा late जाना था या थोड़ा सा I got late. I think that was something happened. So I thought of taking a metro. ठीक है, because अच्छा चलो buses, because in our route from Dwarka it takes, and I had to go to Munirka. So huge traffic. जैसे आप 7:20 cross करते हो, the traffic becomes really unbearable. So it was, I moved out, I think around 7:30. So that is why I was like, कि नहीं, bus नहीं, or no other vehicle on the road. Let me go by metro. But my metro station is little far off. So I have to take some conveyance to the metro station. And you will not believe that took 40 minutes that day for me to reach the metro station. Imagine. Metro mein I hardly took 20 minutes to reach Magenta line with, Munirka. But then 40 minutes laga mujhe to get a vehicle and reach the metro station. Itna traffic. Right? So anyway, you do something and then you realize that moving out at 7 o'clock is the best thing for me. At least I don't waste time. Right? Or talk with the traffic police to understand the issue better. They can give you more feedback. They're dealing with the problems every day. So you do all that and then you feel angry, stressed, tired, exhausted, fearful about someday something might happen like this. So all these things, you put it down on a piece of paper and that's what is my empathy map about. Now I define my problem with these 5W and 1H. So starting with who is the sufferer of the problem? So who is my stakeholder, as we used to see it in my 4W canvas? All the people who travel. What is the problem? Due to heavy traffic, you're not able to reach on time, we are wasting. So you define it like that. Where does it happen? In all the busy streets, places with bad roads. The moment it rains, traveling becomes a nightmare, right? Accident prone area. There are certain areas where very often accidents take place. In our route from Dwarka to school, also, there are certain junctions where somewhere, some or the other, truck wala turn lete hue palat gaya. Or some highway person have created a mess super, super early morning. They drive really rash, these cab people. So accident prone areas also create a problem. And then when can it happen usually? Busy hours, morning, evening, or school ends, one at the time with that. Why does it happen? So you chalk out the reasons what you have analyzed: the bad roads, accidents, office hours, rash driving. Sometimes signals खराब हो जाते हैं, so inappropriate signals. Because inappropriate signal is something जिसका एक solution definitely निकल सकता है. Because your signals are fixed. If there's a crossing and for every movement you have marked 30 seconds for all the ways to move, that should be changed. That is the most feasible solution. Because अगर अगली तरफ में कोई ट्रैफिक नहीं है, तो आप उसका टाइम कम कर दो और यहाँ का टाइम बढ़ा दो जहाँ पे ट्रैफिक मूवमेंट हो रहा है. एंड इन द इवनिंग यू रिवर्स इट, है ना? सो इनअप्रोप्रिएट सिग्नल्स इज समथिंग विच इज, आई बिलीव, इज अ टेक्निकल पार्ट एंड इट कैन बी डन. एक्सीडेंट्स का आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो, but for bad roads and inappropriate signals, something can be done. And of course, overcrowded areas where the roads are only small, like places like Narayana and all, jahan pe andar you will have lot of traffic and the roads are small. There are shops or there are houses, you cannot expand the road also. So kya kare? Now, how can it be solved? Something, develop a system which could prevent intense traffic by some suggestions, give some suggestions for it. तो इस तरीके से आपने उस चीज को डिफाइन करा पूरे all aspects of the problem. Okay. Now moving further, ideate. अब ideate में I've tried to highlight the basic suggestions which have come up, like alternate route suggestions. Due to some certain activity which may happen, there could be an airport movement. So you could, predict the airport movement के लिए there'll be traffic block, and because of that, the traffic issue will be there. So you see these during these parade times, 15th August or 26th January, or certain other religious functions also. The traffic police gives a warning to the people that avoid these roads during this time because वहाँ पे procession है, right? The severity of the traffic issue can be predicted. Like we have seen, RCB का जो celebration था, that became such a big tragic. Now, I definitely don't believe in the authorities. I blame the people only, because our people really don't know how to, behave. And that I've seen when you move around in India and you visit various places, you find that people really don't maintain discipline. उनको सिर्फ ये होता है कि हमें आगे जाने का. If you maintain discipline, if you maintain a particular thing, you will definitely do it better, right? But then, yes, authorities, if you talk about the police, everybody was there. They should have predicted the severity of the count of people which may come. And then accordingly, they could have taken some things. The way they have done it in maybe the Kumbh Mela and other places, religious places, they do control the traffic. But then you expect 100 people and then 1,000 people turn up. अब उसका तो फिर कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Right? Then keep track of the rash driving people. This is also one thing which we can do, that जो बहुत usual defaulters होते हैं for rash driving, उनको पकड़ो, उनका लाइसेंस कैंसिल करो, उनको वार्निंग दो, उनको take care of those things so that they are not really creating leading to an accident or creating problem. Moreover, in our country, we have seen that whenever there's an accident, I'm also part of that community. Nobody is bothered to come and clear the mess. तो वैसे का वैसे ही पड़ा रहता है कि authorities will come and do it. है ना? अब क्या है, because वो road jam हो गया है, वो block हो गया है. So we don't have mechanisms. We are talking about going to space. We are talking about going to, we are winning wars, but we don't apply brains in order to solve these problems wherein the other side of the road is empty. So you could, move the crane from that side and maybe have the dividers जिसको कि move किया जाए rather than making it fixed. And then उसको clear करो जितनी जल्दी हो सके. This is something which can be kept in mind and accordingly work. And of course, signaling system can be rearranged as per timing, as per traffic in a particular route, it can be rearranged. Announcing the traffic areas live, which nowadays happens also when you open your, you keep your FM on, so you can get the notifications about the traffic areas. है ना कि वहां नहीं जाना, वहां पे ट्रैफिक ज्यादा है. They keep on telling you from the feedback of the people, right? So all those things were discussed, and they came down to one particular thing कि एक intelligent traffic signal develop करता है. Let's come to that. Okay, so उसका prototype इन्होंने क्या बनाया, किस तरीके से दिखाया. Intelligent traffic signal identifies the live traffic, rearranges the timings, and hence controls the traffic. There's a simple prototype that they have tried to show you, that this is what I plan to take as my solution. अब इस चीज को आपने दिया to the people. Now all those who travel, you can give it to them to check and collect the feedback. इसमें और क्या changes कर सकते हैं, और क्या डाल सकते हैं, what are we doing? ठीक है? So all these steps are to be followed in order to get to a solution. All right, this is how you are going to work on your project, because implementation comes later. First is this particular part that I have to really understand the issues and come down to a solution prototype. Then only I can move ahead and do something. Okay, so this was all about it. And then we have to try to develop projects based on the SDG lines. So I was just thinking about, and I got these inputs from somewhere which talks about that. Yeah, I want your thought process to start. Then there are certain documents which the CBSE has also provided regarding the project work that I'll ask you to read. But the thought process should be like this. Like for climate change, your SDG 13. Okay, now Harshita and Parth don't have much idea about these SDG maybe. You may have it according to your general knowledge. But SDGs हमने 11th 12th में नहीं पढ़ा है. Because I'm expecting that you know it because you've done it in class 10th. 9th and 10th. Okay, so these are my sustainable development goals. And कितने goals थे?
17 SDG goals.
How many?
17.
Was it 17 goals? 18 goals? कितने goals थे? 17 goals, huh? Okay, so there are predefined goals, SDG goals, and they are all talking about to create a better environment, utilizing the solution, utilizing the resources in a manner that it can be kept for our future generations also. है ना? That is what is sustainability all about. So ये जो SDG goals दिया गया है, and I think it was 2030 तक का target है that everybody should meet these SDG goals, which talks about a lot of aspects. And there we have, I have chosen these three जहाँ पे आप थोड़ा सा ideate कर सकते हो. That one is for the climate change. So AI models analyze satellite imagery and weather data to predict extreme events, like maybe tsunami or too much of carbon emissions or something like that. So इसमें हमको एक vision वाला model बनाना है, wherein various images are given to him, satellite images, and from there I'm able to make the predictions. ठीक है, so this is regarding the climate change, SDG 13. Healthcare में what we can do, detecting the problem. डायग्नोस्टिक टूल बना सकते हैं हम लोग, है ना? इसमें भी you keep on taking the data from the environment, like this COVID cases coming up. So what is the prediction of uh, the rise of COVID current version, current variant in the coming 30 days? तो उसका एक AI diagnostic tool बनाया जा सकता है, जिसके लिए we can take the data from the previous outbreak. How much time did it take to, flood up? क्या हुआ था? The vaccination data, कैसे things have changed. So all that becomes your input, and based on that, you can develop a predictive analysis for a disease detection. It could be not only, I'm just talking about COVID nowadays because it's relevant. It could be for any disease. Like it could be a heart attack. तुम there's a model जिसको अगर तुम अपना physical parameters, if you provide them, and it has got obviously the data जो उसको required है, तो ये सब देने के बाद the model is going to predict that whether you are prone to a heart attack or not in the coming 5 years, 10 years, 6 months. ठीक है, तो this is a very good diagnostic tool. So क्या input चाहिए, कैसे करेंगे, क्या है? So that is one of the AI models which can be created, which is pretty relevant depending upon the current biometrics which you provide to the system. It is able to give you a prediction. Right? Coming to clean water, the AI, that's SDG 6, number 6. So AI monitors water quality using sensor networks, predicting contamination risk, scarcity issues, ये सब चीजें. Like Yamuna water ka, you take a sample on daily basis, morning, evening, different time of the day, and then you analyze it. किस टाइम पे कंटामिनेशन लेवल सबसे ज्यादा होता है, या उसमें whatever coming in, all those factory outlets जो आता है उसके अंदर किस टाइम पे इट इज मैक्सिमम, व्हाट इज द रेट ऑफ इट, हर मंथ वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है. आई मीन ऑल दैट एनालिसिस कैन बी डन by a AI monitor who is constantly monitoring the water quality of Yamuna, any river for that matter. Right? Now, there could be some more things like water reservation, water conservation के लिए. Again, your imagery thing can be implemented here. Like I would say, or some kind of an input. मैंने कहाँ पढ़ा था मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, but हमने I have read about it somewhere that from every household जितना water आपका drain से निकल रहा है, okay, you measure that. So that tells you the consumption of the family, and that tells you the wastage of water being done. कितना? Is it always the what do you call, polluted water coming out? I mean used water है, या they are wasting the water, proper water भी बाहर आ रहा है drain से because maybe cooler भरते हुए भूल गए, taps are on and you forgot. So clean water is coming out of the drain. Right, so a consumption report बन सकता है for every family. An AI monitor can be used to do that. Right, so I'm just giving examples. Various things can be done in this particular regarding. I mean, various SDG goals are there, and आपका AI model किस तरीके से इस चीज को कर सकता है. You have to think about that also. Right? Now, I would like to just take 2 minutes. Let's do that once. I'm just going to my browser and I just say the SDG goals. There are 17 goals. He is absolutely correct. So SDG goals talks about these 17 goals. The sustainable development goals. I'm going to the Wikipedia directly. Less images and more data. Okay, so it has been given by UN only, and 2030 का agenda है कि तब तक every country should achieve it for the peace and prosperity of the people and the planet. A lot of things, principal structures. If I talk about the SDG goals, these are the ones. no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, technology and infrastructure, reduced inequalities. I didn't share the screen, I'm sorry. So here I am, and these are the goals. Okay, 17 goals are there. A lot of work has been done in this regard. It's not that you can actually read how the government is trying to work in these directions, right? Reducing inequalities, sustainable cities, like solar panels, putting solar panels in the cities or village areas also, creating something better in terms of public transport, in terms of solar energy, wind energy. कहाँ से क्या हम यूज कर सकते हैं कि सस्टेन कर सके सिटी अपने आप को, फॉसिल फ्यूल्स को यूज ना करें, जितना मिनिमाइज कर सके. So all these comes under there. Climate action, of course, life below water, life on land, मरीन रिसोर्सेस को भी कैसे हम लोग कर सकते हैं, कंजर्व कर सकते हैं, है ना. ओशंस को प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज रिवर्स को प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. एवरीथिंग is important because that's part of your nature and they should be forests को protect कर सकते हैं. So everything comes under all these points: life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and then finally the partnership for the goals. Right, so these are my SDGs. I'll send you the concerned data. जितना minimize हो सके. So Parth and Harshita, just go through it. ठीक है. As per the syllabus, they will not ask you to define these SDG goals for 9th 10th के syllabus में, but that's one of the targets of this syllabus also, for you to understand these things. Right? So this is to be done, required. And we have finished up with our design thinking process. And next class, we start with the next methodology, which is required for my project development.